Okay, we're getting to the end of the day. So this is probably the moment you were all waiting for. Jos, who is the main developer on the Zentyal server, he's going to present the main ideas for the 3.0 roadmap. I think you don't want this to be just a one-side presentation. You want this to be more like a debate. So here are the main goals that we are looking for the next version. But we have time now to discuss, to put the priorities on side, to discuss the details on what are the things that we need to do first and what are the ones that we can leave for the next. Who can get involved in helping somehow in some other parts. And yeah, but anyway, this is his presentation, not mine.
Thank you, Ignacio. And thank you, everybody, for coming, especially the ones who have traveled from far away. We really hope you enjoyed the stay in Zaragoza. And of course, we hope you are coming to the next Zentyal Summit next year. It will mean that we are doing it well. And okay, let's get started. I was surprised that this morning seeing that Nacho already told you some spoilers about the future roadmap. So, so my talk is not going to be so impressive. Well, but first of all, just as a reminder, we're going to remember which is our release policy. No changes here. Well, probably the only one change is that this year we are starting earlier the development of the next major release. So in December we are, well, now in November we are still stabilizing, polishing the last details of the 2.2 release. But in December we are to get the hands in the work deeply to start with the 2.3 release. And as usual, we first will release some alpha packages, then beta packages, release candidate. Of course, we hope all of you will help us testing and giving us feedback and bug reports about these beta releases. And in September, like this year, around the second week of September, we will have the final stable Zentyal 3.0 release. Okay? And now let's see which are going to be our three main development lines. Two of them Nacho already told you this morning, Ubuntu and desktop. And the third one, I think, is not a big surprise as well, because it has already been our focus in all the past Zentyal releases. We are always trying to improve the user experience. Zentyal will don't have any sense if it weren't easy to use and easy to administrate, and reducing the time that system administrator needs to have the corporate network running well without problems. Well, so let's start with Ubuntu. First of all, you have to take into account that this is not a release like it was Zentyal 2.2, which was based in Ubuntu Lucid 10.4, the same as Ubuntu 2.0. There were no change in the distribution base, and so we just add some new features, improve user usability. It was just improvements over the same base. This release is a major release, so we increase the major number, as you have already noticed. We go from the 2 to the 3 because the entire base distribution changes. New version of all the packages we are based on, Squid, Samba, etc. So we have to make sure that everything keeps working with no problem with those changes in the distribution base. Not only the version changes, but sometimes they change the way all the system together works, like introducing new changes, like when they introduced Upstart instead of the I need the scripts and that kind of stuff. And apart from that, we also want to achieve a much better integration with Ubuntu. Nowadays, we are not proud of some of the things we do, like having custom changes to work well with Ubuntu. I mean, now we have to make sure that all our services are started in a proper order. So what we do for that is stop the Ubuntu managed services and then start our services in a proper order. Sometimes we also need to launch the daemons with some specific command line options and that kind of stuff, overriding the upstream default upstart scripts. And we want to change that and have a tight collaboration with the upstream developers, being part of the Ubuntu community to have a better integration to improve all the stuff. Clear advantages of this is improving boot speed, because we are not going to manage the service anymore. We want that be able to manage directly the services like they are also managed by Ubuntu. Let's get Ubuntu to start the services in a proper order. If we need to change something because it causes a bug in Zentyal, we will be pushing the developers to make their change for us. Of course, we are not going to ask them to, hey, work for us. No. Of course, we are going to prepare patches to send them to just. Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course, this is a win-win relationship. Yeah. For Ubuntu, having Zentyal as the reference product for a small business server, I think it's a really win. I mean, yeah, no, Ubuntu is Ubuntu server is much more command line based for advanced users. So having a tool like Zentyal working together in harmony with the rest of the system, I think is also better for us. And as Ignacio also told this morning, we have started the partnership relationship with Canonical, and of course, all of this is going to help us to make the really killer solution for a small business server based in Linux. Well, improved speed and, of course, maintainability, because we no longer have custom changes. The problem now is if they make a change to fix a bug or something in the upstart screen, and we have make a diversion of that script, we have a problem when they change the upstream version, that kind of stuff. Well, I think this is more or less clear. If not, after that, you can ask any kind of question. As Nacho said, this presentation is going to be quick. So after that, we can have an open discussion about the whole roadmap. So the next thing is desktop. Two big changes in Zentyal server here, Semaphore and Kerberos. With Semaphore, I think there is no possible discussion here. I mean, if we want to be the alternative to Windows server, we need a drop-in replacement for Active Directory. Active Directory is a key feature of Windows server. Now we have Samba 3, as you may know. It's for a really small business with 5 computers. It will be it's okay. It's enough with Samba 3. You can have your share folders. You can log into the domain with your account. But as soon as you need something bigger for a company with different user policies and that kind of stuff, you need a replacement to Active Directory. Otherwise, we can't compete with that. And Semaphore is a drop-in replacement for that. Also, tools like the Zentyal AD Sync, the Active Directory synchronization for users, are going to disappear with that. With Semaphore, as you can use it like if it were a Windows server. You just join your Zentyal server with Semaphore into the domain. It automatically starts synchronizing users and passwords with the Windows server. Once that process is ready, in a couple of seconds or minutes as much, you shut down your Windows server, you promote your secondary domain controller with Zentyal, you promote to primary domain controller, and that's all. Migration is done without resetting passwords like you have to do now with Active Directory sync, that kind of stuff. It's a big step forward in the desktop for with Zentyal. And well, the second point, Kerberos. Well, if you want to deploy Semaphore, you need Kerberos. I mean, it's a requisite for making work. Active Directory works with Kerberos for the authentication as well. But we're not just integrating Kerberos to make Semaphore work. We are integrating Kerberos to also make all the services included in Zentyal to authenticate with Kerberos. So providing single sign-on for desktop users. So if the user logs into the Windows machine or even in the Ubuntu machine, like we'll see with the Zentyal desktop for Ubuntu, if he has already entered the password logging in, if the proxy module, for example, is configured to use authentication, he doesn't need to enter the username and password again to browse the web. Kerberos single sign-on allows to already, you got the Kerberos ticket and no need to enter your password again. That applies to all the Zentyal services. Okay, and that's for Windows. To make Zentyal stronger in the desktop Windows, that's almost enough. And to make an equivalent for Linux based on Ubuntu, we need an extra development. I mean, in Windows, you have already the user and group policies to configure stuff like don't allow this group of users to change their desktop wallpaper or that kind of stuff. But we are going to implement the equivalent for Ubuntu. There are already developed a set of scripts in the open source community to enable or disable through gconf and that kind of stuff, those sets or policies. So we just need to integrate them in Zentyal desktop. So based on the information stored in the Zentyal LDAP or Semaphore Active Directory, knowing which users belong, which group, belongs that user, which is he able to do, which not. And we are not just implementing 2 or 3 features and that's all. Our aim is to provide an easy framework to allow any member of the community to contribute with that. So making easy to, I want to make a script to disable or enable the possibility of mounting an USB device based on a policy and that kind of stuff. We want to make it really easy to contribute. And yeah, the final goal with this is make Ubuntu comparable with Windows in corporate environments. Okay? And the 3 main development line is the user experience, like it has been since always. So things here, 4 things we are, of course, we are going to do more than we are showing there. This is just our proposal of what things we consider are more important. There will be open discussion there. Here in the forums, we will open a thread to talk about this. But some things we think they are key to improve is, first of all, our Masterslave architecture. It can be improved a lot. One of the ways to improve it is performance. We have to review performance because in large deployments, we can face some problems, not for a small business, but we have to be open to more large deployments. And some other features like being able to change the mode with a pair of clicks in the interface. I mean, you have now a master with all the users. I want now to shut down the master and promote this slave to master. Just I can change the mode in the interface, and that's all. Now you know you have to do it in command line and resetting all the users database. That's not the way. And also allowing in the master to have any other modules depending on LDAP, which nowadays we only allow to, by design, we only allow the users module. Okay, and we also, a thing that we think is really important is to provide a really easy migration, smooth migration from one version to another. We have done a first step in this release, providing a tool and a script to migrate from Zentyal 2.0 to 2.2. But we think we have go even further and just be able to, you change your repository from 2.2 to 3.0 and you run an apt-get this upgrade and upgrade your distro, or even going further, just do as the update manager of Ubuntu does and notify, oh, there is a new version available. Do you want to upgrade? Yes, no. You click yes, and everything is upgraded, just with no user intervention, and everything should run with no problem. Okay, those are our main goals. We have also extra stuff in mind. We can't promise yet it will be ready for 3.0 because we still don't know our available resources, and some things as the graphical instead, as I talked earlier with Christian in the lunch. It depends more or less on the Ubuntu community, the progress, because it will be probably just easy to take the Ubiquity, which is the graphical installer for Ubuntu desktop, but it doesn't support RAID or LVM setups, which are really important for a server, and we can provide an installer without those capabilities. And the other two issues are regarding usability. The proxy module, we think it needs a really full review, redesign of the interface to make it really simple to understand and use, and a generally user interface review, maybe even including a redesign of the elements, a change in the design. And well, that's all. Let's now, we have, I think, 40 minutes for the whole talk. As I promised, this was going to be quick, but now we can start the discussion about the roadmap. Of course, I can answer your questions, but I can also hear your proposals. Okay.
You mentioned that you rely a lot on Semaphore for the next release.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Are you sure that Semaphore will be in the next LTS?
Well, no, I'm not sure, of course, that an official package of Semaphore working will be in the Ubuntu main repository. But now, in Ubuntu Lucid, our Samba package is maintained in our PPA repository. It's a backport from Maverick or Natty or something like that, because the Samba version on Lucid was not ready for the Zentyal needs. I mean, it's something that we have already done in the past. If we have to do it again, we will do it with no problem. Of course, it will be great to have to have a Semaphore package fully working on the main repository to free us to the work of maintaining it, but we are not sure if it will be possible. We have already done some research of Semaphore. We have made some successful tests, joining a Windows XP machine to the domain, and it seems, I mean, it's there is still almost 1 year, a whole year left until the release of 3.0, and taking into account the current status of Samba, I think 1 year before it will be ready for production.
What I missed is client management. And how are you going to deal with that? Because, well, for a small country, for a small company, I can imagine it's not that important to use auto update from the Ubuntu or the Zentyal repositories. But if you implement Zentyal in a larger environment, you want to be sure your packages, your update packages are tested, and you want to be sure that not all the software available can be installed by just anyone. And I miss something that controls all the updates available by a network administrator.
Yeah, okay, I understand. But that's the same with the server now. I mean, if you buy a subscription, you have warranted QA updates. I mean, of course, I'm just only talking about the community features of Zentyal Desktop. But in parallel to this, we are planning some commercial services around Zentyal Desktop. I mean, remote management of the desktop, more or less parallel to the services we have now in the server. Remote administration, alerts, that kind of stuff are also going to Zentyal Desktop, but not in the community version, you know? I'm not sure if...
What I mean is that you can say a lot about Microsoft, but there are some things they absolutely do right, in my opinion. And that's, for instance, basis.
Yeah, you know, WSUS, you mean? Yeah, okay.
That you can,
yeah.
as a network administrator, that you can say, okay, these packages are authorized for the desktop.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. We were already looking for some equivalent to Wisu's solutions in the open source world, like OPSI or WPKG. We have that in mind. In fact, if you enter to our wish list in the track, you can find them listed there. Well, yeah, of course, there will be good improvements or add-ons to the Zentyal Desktop solution, yeah.
That's a feature that we also talk about we need to implement sooner or later. However, we didn't put it in the main goals because we think that we need first to have this Semaphore in the Zentyal Alpha, like the Ubuntu desktop, to actually be able to completely remove it. So probably in the next iteration, or maybe we can put this next step, or maybe if we all decide that, okay, this is a clear feature and we need to put it and keep it and change the paradigm. But in my opinion, I don't know if you agree with me, it has to come some steps further. Yeah, of course.
I suppose there will be any other question, because if this is going to be a discussion on the roadmap and everybody stays quiet, we're fuck up. Okay, yeah, the CEO can also ask questions. Okay, let's go. Yeah.
This morning, there were several people who mentioned that thin clients are important.
Yeah, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm not sure, but isn't thin clients LTSP already in our fundraising page? Yeah.
Things that are in the fundraising is because we don't consider them important.
Okay.
And if people fund them, then we do it. But if here we come out with the conclusion that thin clients are important.
Yeah. Of course, nothing against that. If they are currently in the fundraising.
But I would like to say that thin clients here are going to benefit a lot from Zentyal Desktop already. Like all the ready in Zentyal to deploy in clients, and Zentyal desktop will be take care of centralized authentication and policies like setting up proxy server for the thin client and everything. So yeah, we could spend some time developing a web interface to run a couple of commands you need to build like Masterslave for STP. But I don't know. I think it's actually right now Zentyal is quite ready with all the integration and desktops that we are going to do for the next release. We have a closed solution for clients. Maybe still you have to do something manually, but
Anyway, the only thing that worries me about the client is that we have the clear success stories, some experience with that, but we would like to have the feedback of what actually are the use cases that we need to solve and put them in priority so that we can solve the most important ones and then see if we have resources to solve the next one. Because we can invent what we can solve, what features we have to implement, but the feedback, that's probably the most important. Some way to organize it and to prepare some kind of deployment. I've mentioned many times to implement LTSP, but that is my reasoning was that I want that central administration for all my clients, because if I have 50 or 80 or more client desktops, I don't want to run from desktop to desktop to desktop for each package that has to be installed. I want a central spot. And if it's going to happen through LTSP or through a local repository, I don't mind. It doesn't matter to me. But I want, as a system, as a network administrator, I want to be able to administer from a central point and not from desktop.
Yeah.
From desktop to desktop. Yeah, for example, that's the use case that I have in mind. Yeah, okay. So I'm glad.
No, yeah, but we understand that need, of course, like OPSI or null packaging.
When I think about the thin clients, is like if you want to deploy a thin client architecture, which is basically like, okay, I want to manage the packages and the updates from security. For me, it's basically different. But of course, they're related. Yes, just of course.
and actually part of this problem is already solved with Zentyal desktop that is going to apply group policies to both Windows and Linux desktop. So not the part of installation of new packages, but the part of pre-configuring applications and establishing new policies, like what is the user allowed to do or not allowed to do. This is already in code, or it's going to be implemented in proposal very soon.
Sorry, what? Maybe we should be passing the microphone to everybody to speaking. I mean, yeah. So I don't know who wants to talk now, but maybe using directly the microphone. Or
He's closer. Get to Christoph, come on.
Yeah. Okay.
You said you want to rewrite the master-slave, I would say, relationship. Have you planned to enable other kind of master-slave, like DHCP or?
Yeah, we have that in mind. Some other master-slave architectures, not only for users, like for SIA, for example. In fact, we have also deployed, not in the upstream packages, but we have done manual deploy of the certification authority model in Masterslave, and of course that can be extendable to other models. And we have also done custom deployments of DHCP and DNS and routing in high availability, like Luis Palomero from Sabeco explained it this morning. I mean, yeah, all those are possibilities to be integrated, but yeah, you know, we have to focus on a limited set of features, because if we want to do everything,
I want to say, yes, we need you as a customer in order to find our needs. I mean, if you need some kind of high availability on file sharing or stuff like that, we need to know which features do you really need to make the priority. I mean, it's very important for us, because we can do the work by say, okay, this work is useless for us because we need something else. So it's very important for us to be hand by hand and in order to make the futures more useful. That's why I'm saying that we need to establish a roadmap with you, because you are more important than us, and we need to make this as a way to make the future. Okay?
They were using Zentyal because of its simplicity. It's easy to use, nice overview. So with version 2.2, it's case-proof. Yes, and keep it simple. And now with version 3 and adding more features and more nice stuff, more manageability, etc. Aren't you afraid to drown in overwhelming pool of features and lose control?
Well, I think we are not aiming to add much new features in 3.0. I mean, most of the things in my slides were improving performance, improving user experience, rewriting stuff to do things better. I mean, the really two big changes are Semaphore and Kerberos, and these are not really new features. These are replacing features like Samba 3 with Samba 4, replacing the current LDAP authentication where you have to type your password every time. Just do it better with single sign-on. We are not adding new features. We are making a product more rock solid, more faster, better performance. Yeah, you know? Okay. I think we are in the same point of view. We agree with that. No more questions or proposals or? Oh. Ah, okay. Do you want the microphone? Okay.
Does Semaphore mean GPO?
Yes, of course. The question is, does Samba 4 means GPO? Yes. Samba 4 means a drop-in replacement to a Windows server. So everything you can do with a Windows server should be able to be done with Samba 4. No more questions on the internet? Oh, Mihai.
For us, one of the reasons we are making this change towards open source is to be able to get better at what we're doing. Not necessarily to replace Microsoft. We just want to do better things at a better TCO. Okay. Now, for us to get better at what we're doing, we need a bit more integration with additional products. I know somebody was arguing that aren't you expanding too much? I'm worried, aren't you expanding too little? And I'll give you the examples where what will be interesting for us. Somebody mentioned LTSP, and you know why, and I agree with you, we need to get in that area, otherwise we'll be left behind and we'll have to go towards client virtualization at some stage. Simply buying new desktops every so often, I think is going to stop, and other people will do it in a better way. And it's going to be done through Microsoft, and something needs to be done about it. The other thing is we're looking at, in order to improve productivity of our stuff, we need to be able to integrate with, let's say, Asterisk. We need to be able to integrate with, let's say, Sugar CRM, with a document management system, and so on. Your main product is, in fact, providing that integration towards many products. I would like to see what's your view in, for example, Alfresco for document management. Okay, so what's your view regarding further expansion in the integrating products?
Okay, thank you. That was very interesting stuff. So the thing with the thin clients, before I will answer that, the thin clients, so we have different views, but I agree that a virtual desktop virtualization, virtual desktop infrastructure will come sooner or later. And having the thin clients integrated, the management of thin clients integrated in Zentyal, that's a step toward that. And so that we learn from that, we have a step closer to eventually someday being able to offer a VDI. And regarding the other solutions you comment, it's a difficult step for us because it means that if we start integrating Sugar CRM, Alfresco, and this kind of open ERP, if we start integrating them on the solution, on top of the solution officially, then we are already starting attacking the enterprise level applications. And we are focused mainly on infrastructure, communication, and security. So there are different layers. But I agree with you that it's good to have some way of integrating. And we're actually evaluating the possibility of integrating Alfresco on the cloud and exploring that option as an alternative, as well as providing better documentation and a better integration and easiness to, okay, I get an open ERP or whatever ERP, okay, and this is the way I can synchronize the users and whatever else. So I agree with you, it's a good step forward. I'm not sure that we have to integrate it like a package, but better to communicate.
Just one more argument towards what I just said. Look at the Windows Small Business Server. It comes with SharePoint. It comes with some kind of communications platform. So even if you look at the kind of market you are looking at, you have to catch up, in other words.
Just to ask another question, maybe something that should be thought about including. One of the advantages for us is the use of Zarafa, because when you move away from the server side and the IT professionals, the people using the product see Zarafa. And it has been very easy for us to move people onto that because the look and feel is so similar that it's not difficult to move. And one of the huge challenges facing open source is getting people to change. So the easier you make the change, the easier it is to move. And then possibly if you want to change them again, the next change is a little easier. So I suppose we were delighted that you included it, not because it may not be the best product, but it's the one that it's easiest to move people onto. And the effect for people then is that when they're at work, they're mainly using their calendar, their email, their tasks, and they have all of that. When they go home and log on, it looks identical, or when they're away from home, everything looks the exact same to them. So their desktop is almost the same if they spend most of their time in that. One piece that's missing maybe is files, that when they save something, if they save it at work, it is at work. And when they come home then and log on, their files are missing for them because they're on the server at work. eGroupware, for example, did integrate a virtual file system. And I'm just thinking if you use something, people now are starting to use things like Dropbox or whatever, so that they have to think of putting the file in the cloud so that when they're working somewhere else, they can link it in. I'm wondering, is there a requirement to integrate some means of having your files available to you as well as your calendar, tasks, and all the other things?
That was a very good point, very good idea. We had been actually thinking about that's a need of our customers that we have to cover somehow. We still didn't decide how to cover it, but well, you have given some hints of what could be the necessity. So we have to think about it, but I think we are both aligned in the same direction. So probably during the next months, we can send you some ideas, maybe publish them on the community also, and get feedback so that we can work on what could be the best way to implement it.
Here we are only talking about the server side, but of course there is going to be a lot of parallel development in the cloud, and that kind of stuff like storing the files in the cloud is...
This is cloud servers, desktop, and this is...
Yeah, but you know that those slides were centered in desktop, in server like.
Those slides are his domain.
Now you mentioned cloud. Are you going to assure that everybody trusts your cloud? Because I had this slight DNS problem last week. Well, there was a slight DNS problem, but because when I checked my cloud services for the servers I had running, I saw 3 servers offline, and all 3 servers were online. So there was some DNS problem, I think, and those problems shouldn't exist. You must assure 100% uptime, and that, well, this was some kind of hiccup, but it's an annoying hiccup, and if you have that as a paid service, companies are not going to accept it.
It's my turn because I'm Zentyal Cloud Manager. Right, you're right. The Zentyal Cloud, the main problem with cloud is not only happened to us, as you know, because it's happened to Amazon, it's happened to our providers, so it happens to everyone. Cloud is a very young technology, and we have to think about it, and we are early adopters now. We are in the early adopter phase. So we are going to, every second that we pass, every second that is more mature and it needs more reliability. I'm sure that your hiccup didn't mean too much to you, but I think we are in the path to make this reliable. I mean, Zentyal Cloud or whatever cloud service you have is always have to be up. It's something that we have in mind, and it's in the roadmap. It is not in this roadmap because it's something that you take this as granted, but it's not granted for anyone because it's the same happens to Zentyal server. So I agree completely with you that we have to work a lot on reliability, but I think that Zentyal Cloud or this kind of services are going to be 100% uptime. So we are in that path.
Yeah, we have, as you know, the cloud is the place where we centralize our services, our commercial services. However, we have increased the value of free, free as a free beer subscription, so the basic subscription, so that we can gain more user base. So that can help us debugging also the cloud, well, debugging. Getting to that 100% stabilization. So that's a move of, well, we give more services for free so that we can get more users on the cloud so that we can find all these corner cases, finally attack them. So now, for example, we have almost 1,000 new basic subscription per month. So and at that level, we reached that level thanks to 2.2 because we put a subscription wizard and we multiply by 3 or 4 times the level of the number of subscriptions. So now that we have all this base of users, we are speeding up the stabilization of the cloud.
Integrating AlanQ, probably one of the best ERP software in Spain, developed in Spain. And yes, of course, but as Nacho said, it's not between our main priorities as we are still focusing network infrastructure, communication. Yeah, you already know our 5 Zentyal profiles. But of course, we want to make integration with those kind of applications as easy as possible. And we have already done some job, and of course, we are going to do more job to just deploy that kind of software with a few clicks from the interface. Probably not as official modules, but as community or country modules. And of course, someday, maybe in the future, we can even make them official. Okay? if there are no more questions, well, as I said, the discussion about the roadmap doesn't end here. Probably Sunday or Monday we will open a thread in the forum with the conclusions, the announcement of the proposed features, and we will be you will be still able to discuss them in the forums during a period. So thanks again everybody for coming. Okay.